So with Xbox Live coming to Nintendo Switch and a bunch of rumors around the web of a bunch of Xbox games making their way to Switch sooner or later, along with Xbox Game Pass, which would be insane, I decided today it's time to talk about the top 5 Xbox games that I would love on Nintendo Switch. Let's jump in. I'm going to start off with a big one, and at first you might think I'm a little crazy, but I don't think it's completely out of the question. I think Master Chief Collection belongs on Nintendo Switch. Okay, maybe not belongs on the platform, but I think it would be really awesome. Now, one thing you might not remember is that there actually was a Halo game being developed on Nintendo DS, and you can still find footage of this game. Now, I remember seeing video for this way back when I was like a little kid, and it looked awesome then, and I still think it looks awesome now. It would have been really crazy if we ended up getting this Halo game on DS. I think it would have done really well because Halo was really thriving around that time, and having Halo on the go, that sounds awesome, and that's why I think it's time for Halo Master Chief Collection on Nintendo Switch. Now, we know that literally every single one of these games in this collection could run on the Switch, and well, that's because the Switch is more powerful than the Xbox 360. Now, would it be the enhanced graphics, resolution, and frame rate on the Xbox One versions? Probably not. We're probably going to get something closer to the 360 versions, which would be still awesome. I mean, the games are still a lot of fun, even if you're playing the 360 version. Halo 3 multiplayer is still a blast to play, and the campaigns are all pretty awesome as well, so I think Halo would feel right at home on Switch, and I think this could actually be a way to reinvigorate the series in a way, because we know the Master Chief Collection, when it launched on Xbox One, it had a terrible launch, like absolutely abysmal, and I think if this game got a second chance on Switch with, you know, cross-play with Xbox One through Xbox Live, which would make a lot of sense, I think that would be really awesome. Now, we know that there's some sort of Master Chief Collection coming soon on the next Inside Xbox, but it's probably going to be the PC version being announced, which would also be a big deal. But hell, could you imagine if they announced the Switch and PC version and they were all cross-play with one another? I don't know about the competitive stuff with the PC version, but everything else, the co-op, that would be really cool to have cross-play with one another. But that's only the first game on the list. There are 2 more games that have recently been rumored for Switch, and I'm going to talk about them. Cuphead and Ori and the Blind Forest. These are 2 games that are just beautiful works of art. They don't push the hardware or anything, but they're beautiful in terms of a super stylized art direction. These games are just immaculate in both presentation and gameplay. Cuphead is for those people who really want a challenge and they want to play a unique platformer that actually ended up being way better than people expected, because people forget during those previews before the game launched that a lot of the platforming stuff just wasn't that good, but they really nailed it in the end, and the game was a huge success both critically, and I'm pretty sure it sold like over 1 million copies, which is amazing for an indie developer. Now, with Ori and the Blind Forest, this is a Microsoft published game, so it'd be a pretty big deal if it ended up coming to Switch. Bringing it to Nintendo Switch would just be another huge step forward for Nintendo and Microsoft and their partnership, or like whatever the heck they got going on. I think it's pretty awesome, but I think these 2 games would do really well on Switch because the indie scene on Switch is absolutely thriving. There are indie games selling 3 times the amount of the Xbox One and PS4 versions combined on the Switch. Like, these indie games or just smaller games in general, they're really doing great on the platform, so it just makes sense to bring them over. I mean, who's honestly buying an Xbox One for those games? Not a lot of people, and speaking of that, I don't think there's anyone buying an Xbox One for the Master Chief Collection anymore. Maybe at launch, but it's been like, what, 4 or 5 years now, so I think it makes sense for Microsoft to bring those games to another platform. Next up is a game that I've barely played, I've only dabbled in it, and it's Super Lucky's Tale. This is a game that I think would just do really well on Switch because it's bubbly, it's a platformer, it kind of reminds me of like Nintendo's style, so I think putting a game like that on Switch, it's bound to do well. And there were rumors way back in September that the game actually got rated for the Nintendo Switch, and then like nothing ever came to be, so I'm surprised by that. I really thought this game was going to end up being on Switch, and hell, it may as well still be on the way. These games like Ori, Cuphead, and Super Lucky's Tale would just do wonders on Switch, I guarantee it. Now, this last one I want to talk about probably makes the most sense out of all of these games. Rare Replay. A lot of these games were on the Nintendo 64, exclusively on Nintendo 64 until this Rare Replay collection. And of course, there were also some other games that were originally on the NES. Hell, back when this game came out, the Xbox One actually had a larger selection of N64 games than the Wii U did, which is kind of funny but also sad. I think Nintendo gamers everywhere would really appreciate having games like Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooie, hell, freaking Battletoads. That would be so awesome to have them on Nintendo Switch, and they would feel right at home on a Nintendo platform. I think that's a given. And once again, nobody is really buying an Xbox One for these 5 games. Yes, they might sell a little bit of hardware, but honestly, people who are buying the Xbox One are buying buying it for Game Pass, the online infrastructure, and the big exclusives like Forza Horizon and Gears 5, and the upcoming Halo Infinite. So if Microsoft wants to make a quick, easy buck, put these games on Switch, Microsoft. Just do it. Nintendo, work it out. I know you guys are friends now. Just make it happen. That's all I got to say today, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Would you love if any of these games came to Switch? Because I think I'd be the most excited if we got the original Halo trilogy. Hell, just leave 4 and 5 out. I don't even care about ODST or Reach. Okay, Reach needs to come over. I love that game. But I would love the original Halo trilogy on Switch. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you guys later.